Good morning, Primary 6. I am Miss Nermeen Saeed, your science teacher. Today our lesson about Unit 3, Lesson 1, Solar Eclipse. But before we talk about solar eclipse, let's watch this video. Okay, in this video you can see that the Earth revolves around the Sun in oval orbit. Also, Moon revolves around the Earth in smaller oval orbit. But what's the difference between oval orbit and circular orbit? Okay, look here. Circular orbit means that the Moon will be at the same distance during the movement around the Earth. But in oval orbit, the Moon will be sometime near to the Earth, and in another time the Moon will be far from the Earth or in a higher orbit from the Earth. So Earth revolves around the Sun in oval orbit and Moon revolves around the Earth in smaller oval orbit. Okay, also remember that light travels in a straight line, right? Okay, and when anybody will be in front of this source of light, it will blocking the light or prevent the sunlight or prevent the light from reaching to the other side, formation a dark area. We call this area what? Yes, we call this area a shadow. Excellent. You studied it in primary 5. Excellent. Okay, we have here many types of shadow. Number 1, this is the source of light, and this is the body which is prevent the sunlight from reaching to the other part. Here we have dark shadow. This dark shadow, we called it umbra region. We called it umbra region. Repeat after me. We called it umbra region. In this area, anyone in this area can't see the sun or can't see the source of light completely. It will be dark. So what is the umbra region? It's inner dark shadow. What is the umbra region? It's dark inner shadow. Anyone in this area can't see the sun, can't see the light completely. Number 2, we have here faint outer shadow. Not very dark, it's faint. We call this region penumbra. We call this region penumbra. So anyone in penumbra region can see a part of the light. Can see a part of the light. So we have umbra region, which is dark inner shadow, and we have penumbra region, which is faint outer shadow. Okay, and now we will talk about solar eclipse, but let's do this experiment now. Solar eclipse is a very beautiful phenomenon happening in nature. Okay, what happens in solar eclipse? When the Earth, Moon and Sun on one straight line and the Moon become in the middle or between Earth and Sun, it forms a solar eclipse. So, what is solar eclipse? It's a phenomenon happens when Earth, Moon, Sun on one straight line and the Moon between Earth and the Sun. And also we said that when the body will be in front of a source of light, what happens? It blocks the sunlight or it prevents the sunlight from reaching to the other side. Look here, we have here the shadow. This shadow we called it what? Umbra region. Excellent. And what is umbra region? It's a dark inner shadow. Anyone in this region or anyone in this area can't see the sun completely. So, in this case, the type of solar eclipse, we called it total solar eclipse. Why? Because we can't see the sun completely. We can't see the sun completely. So, total solar eclipse happens in umbra region. Second type of shadow is the faint outer shadow, which is called what? Yes, penumbra region. The outer faint shadow, we call it penumbra region. And anyone in penumbra region will see what? Can see what? Part of the sun. Will see part of the sun. In this case, we call the type of solar eclipse is partial solar eclipse. So we have total solar eclipse in umbra region, partial solar eclipse in penumbra region. Total solar eclipse in umbra region, partial solar eclipse in penumbra region. This case or these two types of shadow happens when the moon near to the earth, right? We have another case when the moon very far from the earth or in a higher orbit. What happened in this case? In this case, the shadow can't reach to the earth. Why? Because the moon very far from the earth. Again, this type of shadow happens when the moon very far from the earth or in the higher orbit from the earth and the shadow can't reach to the earth. This type of shadow that is formed, we call it anti-umbra. We call it what? Anti-umbra. And anyone in this area or anyone in this region can see the light or can see the sun as lighted ring, as this. Here is a light ring which is formed in annular solar eclipse. So from the beginning, what is the solar eclipse? It's a phenomena happens when Earth, Sun, Moon on one straight line and the Moon between Earth and Sun. How many types of solar eclipse? 3 types of solar eclipse. Total solar eclipse, and we can't see the Sun completely, which happens in umbra region, and partial solar eclipse which is happening in penumbra region, and we can see part of the sun, and annular solar eclipse which the sun appears as lighted ring and happen in anti-umbra region where the moon in the higher orbit or very far from the earth. Okay, the type of solar eclipse differ according to the part of the sun which the moon hides it. Which means that if the moon hides the sun completely, the type of solar eclipse will be what? Yes, total solar eclipse. And if the moon hides part of the sun, the type of solar eclipse will be what? Yes, partial solar eclipse. And if the moon makes the sun appears as lighted ring, it will be what? Annular solar eclipse. Okay. Primary 6. Solar eclipse happen in morning and it lasts for 7 minutes and 40 seconds. But at this time, we can't look directly to the sun. Why? Do you know why? Because the glow of the sun at this time is weak, but it emits very harmful radiation like ultraviolet and infrared. It may causes blindness, so we mustn't look directly to the sun at solar eclipse. But if we want to watch this beautiful phenomena, we must wear special glasses. Thank you, Prime Minister.